Minister, are you okay? Are you ready? Okay. Bengashe. Minister, are we good to go? Minister, okay, cool. Colleagues, are we ready? Everyone settled down? Everyone ready to go live? Cameras, are we good? Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ngungubele Mhlauli from the DCDT. Thank you very much for joining us here today at this joint media briefing that we have called between the Department of Social Development and the Department of Communications and Digital Technologies. Here today, colleagues, we have the Minister of Social Development, Ms. Lindy Zulu, as well as the Minister of Communications and Digital Technologies, Mr. Mondli Ngungubele. They are also joined by the CEOs of the two entities, which is the CEO of the Postbank, Ms. Nikki Mbengashe, as well as the CEO of SASSA, who is Ms. Totsi Memela. We are going to ask the Minister of Communications to come and read the joint statement. Thereafter, we will then go to the Q&A. Minister, over to you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Mhlauli, Ngungubele, Minister, CEOs, media community, all other dignitaries who have opted to attend, and also the audience in the country. If I may so allow, I may be allowed to go through the statement, the joint ministerial statement on the SASSA social grant payment by Postbank. The Department of Communication and Digital Technologies and Social Development, the agencies, the Postbank, the South African Post Office, and South African Social Security Agency, which is commonly referred to as SASSA, extend their sincerest apologies to social grant beneficiaries who have encountered difficulties accessing their grants this past week. The two departments and their agencies share the pain of beneficiaries, and in this case, the elderly and person with disabilities who solely depend on the provisions for their daily livelihoods. As ministers and the two shareholder representatives of the entities, we have seen the need to take the nation into confidence about the root causes of the recent challenges that have affected the social grants payments during the month of September 2023. On the background, on Tuesday 5th September and Wednesday 6th September this year, Postbank experienced intermittent system challenges at ATMs and retailers, leading to failed withdrawal attempts by some grant recipients for the old age and disability grants. The intermittent system challenges were as a result of a systems upgrade the bank is introducing to provide a better service. The system challenges led to transactions of beneficiaries, resulting in the transaction incomplete errors because of the system's communication timeouts. The transaction incomplete errors are common payment systems errors within the banking space. However, they normally go unnoticed due to automated reversal functionality. The systems challenges that affected Postbank unfortunately impacted the availability of the auto reversal functionality. Regrettably, this resulted in some social grants beneficiaries that were due to be paid on the 5th and 6th of September this year not receiving their social grants payment on time. We would like to reassure our social grants beneficiaries, the public, and all stakeholders that the system's challenges were, as a matter of fact, resolved on the morning of the 6th of September 2023. The Postbank system has been working optimally since the afternoon of the 6th September this year. We would also like to confirm that the payment of all other social grants, which involves a much bigger clientele number, was concluded on the 7th September 2023 without any challenges across all national payment systems, channels including ATMs and retailers. More than 4 million individuals were paid their social grants money by Postbank through SASSA Gold Cards on the 7th and 8th September 2023. However, there might be few beneficiaries who have not yet received their social grants. Unfortunately, though due to the automated reversal not working on the 5th and 6th, a number of clients, mainly the elderly, were unable to access their funds for a prolonged period of time, as manual access had to be implemented to credit their accounts. The current state of affairs, this is what Postbank is now contending with, which is the source of understandable nationwide concerns relating to September 2023 social grants payments, and the issue that, as ministers, we saw the need to address concerns the reversing of funds into the accounts of beneficiaries that were impacted by false transaction errors affecting some beneficiaries on the 5th and 6th of September 2023. Postbank has implemented a manual process to reverse funds into the affected beneficiaries' accounts. Originally, this affected approximately 600,000 beneficiaries, which translates to around 10% of the 5.3 million beneficiaries that are paid their social grants via Postbank SASSA Gold Cards monthly. We would like to confirm to South Africa that the majority of these accounts have now been corrected and clients have been able to access their money. Postbank has completed more than 500,000 funds reversals to date, and the affected beneficiaries have gotten their social grants payments. However, it is important to acknowledge that due to manual processes involved, the process is time-consuming, which has taken longer than desirable period for clients that were impacted since last week to access their money. Government assures South Africans and social grants beneficiaries that all social grants beneficiaries that have not yet received their social grants payments will be paid their money in full. We encourage our clients who are still encountering challenges with accessing their grants money and require support to contact the Postbank call center on 0800535455, 0800535455, or send a text message to our WhatsApp line on 073-806-1631, or email to pbcapitalbalancing@postbank.co.za. We have also encountered some attempts to defraud the system by individuals who would have received their funds trying to get a double payment. Our system are very thorough, and therefore people will not be able to defraud the system. Instead, what they are doing is clogging up the system and thereby delaying the process of dealing with the valid reversals. We condemn these attempts and further warn those people to stop this, as well as be reporting attempted cases of fraud to law enforcement agencies. Updating of SASSA Gold Cards. We assure social grants beneficiaries that September payment challenges are not at all related to SASSA Gold Cards expiry. The challenges were as a result of payment IT system issue that has since been resolved. SASSA Gold Cards remain valid and operational until December 2023 in accordance with the extension of the validity of the cards that was granted by South African Reserve Bank. Social grants, ladies and gentlemen, social grants beneficiaries are encouraged to ignore false information peddlers that tell them that SASSA gold cards have expired and are not valid. The department and their entities will regularly update SASSA beneficiaries and the nation on the details of SASSA cards replacement program and unveil the new Postbank SASSA grants payment cards. On the IT system improvement program for Postbank, before we conclude, ladies and gentlemen, we wish to update the public that the Postbank has made tremendous progress towards concluding its banking IT systems. Its banking IT systems improvement program, which will ensure that it operates from secure and robust banking IT environment that is on par with all other commercial banks. This development will also ensure that system challenges of this nature are a thing of the past. Government remains committed to establishing the Postbank as developmental state bank. In conclusion, on behalf of both agencies, government wishes to profusely again apologize kamantsomang re kope tshwarelo batho ba eso sicele uxolo to stakeholders in the payment value chain for enduring these challenges. We express our gratitude for the support they provided during this time to all recipients. Our gratitude for the support they provided during this time to all recipients of social grants that were affected by the technical challenges. Government is determined to continue building a capable and development state within a vibrant democratic system to benefit the poorest of the poor. The Postbank and SASSA as state agencies carrying pro-poor mandates are necessarily adjoined by this government determination. Postbank and SASSA staff will be in communities this entire week to assess progress on the payment of grants and to assist recipients who may require further guidance and assistance. Siyaphinda futhi sithi kubantu bakwethu basincede basixolele konakale xa sikumizamo yokulungisa. Enkosi.
Thank you very much, Minister. Colleagues, we will then go to the Q&A. We will start with those colleagues who are in-house. As we did say that we have the two ministers of the two departments present, as well as the two CEOs, and when you do ask your question, please just indicate who you are, which media house you come from, and who the question is possibly directed to. So we'll start with the colleagues who are in-house, and then we'll also then take questions from Vanessa from the online platform. Any questions, colleagues? All right. And you'll then be the second over there at the back. All right. Okay, then you'll be the third. All right. Sisi, you can start. You can just press your mic so that you can be audible, introduce yourself, and thank you very much.
My first question is to the Minister. You just read your statement where you said you thought it necessary to take the nation into your confidence. Just in terms of the timing, it's day 10 today. Why has it taken so long for the ministers to respond to this, given the scale of what has happened? Secondly, I don't know if this is directed to the ministers or maybe to the CEO of Postbank. Why were those statements by Postbank posted last week and interviews were done where Postbank was saying everything is fine? Meanwhile, on the ground, everything was clearly not fine and things are still not okay at the moment.
Thank you very much, Shloni. You can go ahead.
Hi everyone, Ngungubele from Museum Africa. Mine is just clarity in terms of how many people were affected in terms of not receiving grant.
Thank you, Ngubele. You can go ahead.
Trisha Kasaki from the SABC to the Minister of Social Development and the CEO of the Postbank. Is there political fallout between the board and perhaps the minister that may have been at the center of the glitches that we are seeing and the non-payment that is continuing? As we've seen reports making the rounds, are they legit, or what's really happening behind the scenes?
Thank you very much, Patricia. We'll start with, before we go to the ministers, Vanessa, do you have any questions that are online?
Yes, we have questions from the online.
How many are there, so that we can just make a determination how many we want to take?
We have about 5 questions.
All right, I think we'll take the first 3 that have been asked in-house. We'll start with Minister Ngungubele.
Thank you very much. NCA is Hloni. Okay. Why so long? Well, it depends how you look at it, Hloni. Since this matter happened, we've been communicating almost nearly every day. Our officials have been on television. You might have seen some of them. But at this level of political leadership, you await up until a particular point in time. You come with a more bulk, when you've got quite a significant amount of work done, more report, so that we don't always come. Most of the time, it's them who communicate. We come here because at the end of the day, our people have elected us to take charge of this. In other words, to check, to ensure that whatever officials were saying, there's an alignment with regard to what they were saying. So it has not been long, but the only difference is that as politicians, we're coming today, not because communication is starting today, but a strategic and a heavier report is taking place today. I'm not sure if that responds. The other one is, I think, how many people I think CEOs will deal with that.
Yes.
My last question, which although they said Minister Social Development, I was very clear that one is coming to me, that it has something, as a suspicion that there's a tiff between the minister and the board. Is this a function of that tiff? I am not sure. I don't know. All I know is that in that regard, we have issued a statement. I'm sure some of you must have got it, with regard to why the board has been has been removed, because of a number of governance issues that are there. How those governance issues are related to this, a lot of work needs to be done to actually connect that. Of course, if Postbank has got governance challenges, they have the potential to lead to this situation. But this one that we're talking about now, it's a normal transition from a system to another. It would happen whether I was in good relationship or bad relationship with the board. There would be no relationship. I thought it is important to clarify that. I'm not sure if I've left anything. Oh yes. No. You in the statement that we issued today, maybe it's good to clarify that. I know some people might have leaked, some board members might have leaked their responses. What actually happened, is it the day before yesterday?
Yes.
Yes. It is a culmination of an attempt by the minister to intervene in dealing with governance challenges that are in the bank, which the board had to answer for. For whatever reason, board members, knowing the decision that was possibly going to be taken in the AGM today, they opted to preempt that, in my view, and leave. Just to say one or two examples. One of the fundamental problems has been the continuation of an illegal contract, which was paid no less than 140 million, and without a justifiable explanation why it was allowed to continue. as a matter of record, which I know is transparent, is public, you know, Postbank has had, a disclaimer for no less than 2 years. No serious-minded nation can allow a financial institution to tolerate that. Normally, financial institutions are held in the highest regard as compared to any other institution. So sensitivity and intolerance towards poor governance in those institutions, we must be found to be aligned with the Reserve Bank, whether as a prudential authority, the Reserve Bank, or fiscal and so on. So the state of governance there, a serious mandate leadership would not allow to continue it like this. And somebody had to accept the responsibility. In this instance, in our view, we are clear, the board had to accept that responsibility. Why they opted to resign before we take a decision in the AGM, they are better placed to explain that. I'm not interested in a lot of other things they say about how ugly I look and when do I smile and when do I cry. I'm not going to respond to those. But there's a fundamental issue on the table, the state of governance of Reserve Bank. This country said, we want to build a state bank. A state bank that ensures that poor people have got access to bank services which they do not have to current traditional banks, whether it's SMMEs and so on. And we've been singing this song for a long time. We will be working together, that will include the minister, to turn around that situation, to make sure that finally a state bank which is professional, which is comparative in terms of leadership, which enjoys credibility that even international investors can invest in, is turned around. That promise cannot wait anymore because we are delaying the misery of people at the same time. We are delaying the translation of their aspirations, especially those who are marginalized.
Thank you, Minister. Ndicela uzibulisela ngokwamo. Njengoba besechilo ukuthi ndinguNikki Mbengashe, like they've said, I'm Nikki Mbengashe, the CEO of Postbank. I think, firstly, let me start by reiterating the apology. We are very sorry for what we have caused on the ground. We recognize the impact, we understand it, we relate to it. I personally relate to it, having been raised up by a mother who benefited from the SASSA grants, and therefore I know Uguti how it feels not to get your money on time. And just maybe to go straight to the question, because I'm very mindful of the time. The question was the statement that we made in the interview that we did, or ENCA, saying everything is fine. Yes, we did say that because the question related, are the systems stable as you are interviewing us? And we still maintain that statement, that the systems are stable. The issue that led to this has been resolved. It was resolved on Monday already, and then on Tuesday we had a timeout of 8 minutes, which then was also resolved. So as of the 7th, sorry, I say Tuesday, it was the 5th and the 6th. As of the 7th, late actually on the 6th, the system has been stable and it is still stable. So that was the first question. The second question, how many people were affected? And again, I want to emphasize that the issue that we're dealing with, and the issue that we have been dealing with since the 5th and the 6th, has been the issue of reversals. Those who had a false honor, as you call it in banking, meaning that the system read that the transaction was complete and yet it was not complete. Therefore, when you go back to check your balance, it seems as if you did withdraw the funds. So those are the customers that we're talking about. We're talking about 10% of the 5.3 million, which refers to about 600,000 customers. And we have, as the minister has also shared, that we have gone through those numbers and we have reversed the money to the majority of those customers, to an extent that we do believe that almost 90% of that 600,000 has been resolved. In fact, even when I say 90%, I'm probably being careful, because in my view, because we have a systematic manner to check who has has that needs the reversal, and therefore we manually reverse that account. So in our view, that the majority of the customers have been resolved. What we are starting to notice, which is actually the cause of clogging the phones and also perhaps delayed to those who had valid inquiries, is that people, those who are trying to get double money, are calling the lines, which we are able to identify, but also those who probably want to understand, is the money in the bank, have started to call the very same line, which is why we have extended currently our way of communicating with the community, which is why we've provided not only an email, we've provided the capability of a WhatsApp, and we've provided the capability of a call, so that we allow people to do a balance inquiry if they need to, but also those who might have still valid reversals required to be able to communicate with us. I hope that answers the questions for me.
Thank you very much, CEO and Minister. We'll now go to the questions that are on the online portal. Vanessa.
Brandon from the Herald has a question for Minister Zulu. We spoke to a few SASSA recipients in the Nelson Mandela Bay area earlier today, and it seems like the matter had not yet been resolved. The Ngungubele post office seems to be the biggest problem. Can you please weigh in? Naila Ibrahim from the 24 Business. Question for Minister Ngungubele. What is the Minister's response to the resignation of the board members of Postbank? And is there new appointments for the chairperson of the board and other non-executive directors? William Horn from Netwerk 24. To Minister Ngungubele. What is the likelihood that this error will not be repeated? And can you ensure that it will not recur? The second question from William Horn. Is the Postbank still the best entity, in your opinion, to handle these essential transfers, given its challenges and recent resignations? We have 4 more questions from Ines Ipo from Times Live. For Minister Ngungubele, will Postbank face penalty for the payment delays? And for the Postbank, do you trust the payment system upgrade, as it could not do the automatic reversals within the said 24 hours? How will this prevent it next month? The following question is for both ministers. Was Minister Ngungubele and Minister Zulu briefed on the payment system problems prior to the failure? If so, when alerted of this, what steps were taken to prevent it? Another question for both ministers. The beneficiaries that ended up incurring debt due to late payments are asking whether there will be some reimbursement for them. Is this something the departments are considering? Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, colleagues. Just to indicate that I think that the question from the online person regarding to Postbank was responded to in the previous round. We will also just ensure that we share the statement with them. It actually comprehensively covers all of the issues that were raised. But we'll start with Minister Zulu.
Thank you very much for that. May I start where Minister Ngungubele started, sayiqala nje i-press briefing, okokuthi sesishilo nakubantu abasemakhaya ukuthi sixolisa kakhulu ngalokho okwenzakele. Sixolise ngoba siyazi ukuthi abantu emakhaya baphila ngayo le mali abayithola kuhulumente we-African National Congress. Sisho futhi nakubo ukuthi senza konke okusemandleni ethu ukuthi i-system nama-system esiwasebenzisayo singasitholi kule simo sokuthi kuthiwa kune-glitch, kuthiwa kune-technical challenge. Leyo ke yenza ukuthi ngiphendule lo mbuzo obuza ukuthi besazi yini before ukuthi kuzoba nale problem. Sihlala vele sibhekile ukuthi makushintshwa i-system esiyibonile ngesikhathi se-COVID-19, usasa mayezama uku-implementa isystem entsha ezobhadala u350. Sizokhumbula ukuthi nangaleso sikhathi seka 350 kwaba khona isikhathi lapho siyasaphuma khona sachaza ukuthi isystem esebenzisa ama system esiwasebenzisayo akuyona into nje ovuka ekseni uthi uyayiswitcha on and off. Yi-system complicated ngale ngasemuva la abantu abane technological know-how ne technological knowing ukuthi system isebenza kanjani. Sihlala sonke isikhathi sibhekile ukuthi kuyowenzeka kube khona into yokuthi kube naleyo system failure. Kule sicela ukusho ukuthi le besingayibhekanga ukuthi kuyoba isystem ezoba neproblem, kodwa ke isystem entsha sifuna ukuchaza ukuthi kubantu basekhaya ukuthi uhulumende ngaso sonke isikhathi mayezosebenzisa itechnology, mayezoshintsha itechnology, kuyowenzeka enkathini eningi ukuthi isystem vele ingabi very efficient ekuqaleni, but after amalanganyana siyakhona khona ukuthi si-improve leyo system. Kulo mbuzo ke besinga expectanga i-problem le esihlangene nayo, but immediately yenzakala baye basazisa. Now umsebenzi wami as a minister nomsebenzi ka Minister Ngungubele as ministers ukuthi mabeza kithi bazositshena ukuthi nansi iproblem, asikwazi ukuthi size sizokhuluma bengasichazelanga ukuthi le system bazoyilungisa nini, bazoyilungisa kanjani, so that singezi la sizotshena abantu into engekho right siphinde siloku sibuya futhi sizokhuluma. Size la ngoba sesine confidence ukuthi lendlela abasebenze ngayo ukulungisa ama system nathi sesibone ukuthi kuproper ukuthi size la sizochaza. Siphinde ke futhi sithi as ministers umsebenzi wethu is to have the executive oversight of lama institutions esikhuluma ngawo today. Yinto esingayenzi ngoba kune problem, yinto esiyenza on day to day basis. Kungako nje uMinister Mondli Ngungubele ethi yena uphethe i-report eyenze ukuthi aze athathe isinqumo sokuthi i-board namhlanje uyayisusa. Ususeni namhlanje orizolo suse namhlanje lokho ukususa kweboard ngicela ukusho ukuthi akuyona into vele uvuke nje ekseni uyenze. Uthola ama reports baze bakuchazela ukuthi sihluleke la nala ene kune governance eyenza enikeza amandla uminister ukuthi mayebona ukuthi ingathi board ayinyisi la ngifuna ukuya khona. Kukuphi la sifuna ukuya khona? La sifuna ukuya khona ukuthi grant recipients funeka bakwazi ukuthola imali yabo on time, funeka bathole ukuthola imali yabo closer to la behlala khona, funeka bakwazi ukuthola imali yabo immediately isasa idlulisela ePostbank or idlulisela nakwamanye ama-bank, funeka abantu bayithole imali yabo immediately. Lastly, as a Department of Social Development, we've always been committed to the resolutions and the decisions about the post office and the Postbank. If it wasn't for that, we would not be here today doing this joint communication that we are doing, because from a broader perspective of the developmental state of South Africa, the importance of that Postbank is very important. And while we are saying it is important, we are also saying they must communicate to us as quickly as possible every time there's a problem, because Sibeliva Uguti, we must always have a plan B which will make sure that our people don't suffer in the way in which some of them have suffered going back and forth. As to paying them back imali transport for going there is not something that we can talk about here today, because we deliver ama social grants as they are. Asinawo extra esidini makufuneka sithi the money that they spend on transport and all akuyona into esingama la sithi nje acha sizonikeza imali, because there are also due processes, there's budgets, there's all of those things that we have to take care of. Otherwise sila united as a government, united as ministers with a political will as ministers to lead these entities, but also with a political will to hold these institutions accountable, or the agencies we are talking about, we have to hold them accountable. Thank you.
What do I say? I think Ngungubele has already clarified if colleagues read the statement, but I want to repeat that. We accepted their resignation, which preempted Section 71. The day before yesterday, we factored an item called Section 71. They know that that item deals with removal. If you check when did they leave and when was the factoring of that section was, it was before they took a decision to leave. We accepted their resignation. What is the reason? If you read our statement, it speaks about the state of governance. It's another briefing on its day. We could do that at length, but all what it says, it's about a Postbank which has tolerated a number of governance imperatives were not acceptable for quite some time. And it happened under their leadership. Are we casting aspersion on their capabilities? No. Maybe banking is not the area where their strength is. We want people whose strength is in the banking area. Somewhere else, they could be good men and women, because some of them I really respect, if not all of them. Now, repetition, I'm sure the CEO can deal with that, because I'll be treading in some area which I'm not a specialist. Is Postbank the best? Let me tell you this. As long as hundreds of thousands of SMMEs in South Africa have got no access to banking services because of cost of banking that they cannot afford, as long as ordinary people who are very poor, who have by a month about 100 rand, cannot use the current existing banks because of the inaffordability of the cost of doing so. It is up to the Postbank to declare whether it is the best bank or not. And I can tell you, an opportunity for making it the best bank lies exactly in there when those needs are met. So it has to be. That's why some of the drastic decisions we're taking. Because I've already heard, Minister, some article, I think it's on Sunday, where people were saying we are delaying a state bank because some of us have got a deal with the top banks so that we can enjoy some privileges. And I want to say to them, neither my president nor myself who have got that deal. That's why we are intervening now decisively, so that the Postbank becomes a dream state bank that our people have been yearning for. Right? The other issue is, okay, I also want to dismiss this myth. I think maybe because of the manner we run things, the manner we manage things, the word developmental has been bastardized as meaning inefficiency, meaning indiscriminate entitlement, right to things you have not worked for, and all those kind of things. The word developmental is a scientific word. Developmental economists have actually factored it in because it calls for an inclusive improvement of human life, sustainable and inclusive improvement of human life across all strata, not an exclusive improvement of life. That's the word development. And therefore, it calls for stronger efficiency, for stronger leadership, for integrity and credibility. This word developmental is a great word. Other countries have applied it. China has done it. China has lifted no less than 800 million people from poverty because it's a developmental government. It's doable. You go to Nordic countries, Sweden and a number of them, this word developmental, we've allowed it to be bastardized because of some of inefficiencies. It's a critical word for inclusive societal improvement. Lastly, somebody was asking, what did you do when you heard about this? If you check, I issued a statement I'm sure the minister issued something to say we are asking the Postbank to do everything in its power to make sure that these things are happening. And we said, we will be briefing you if you check the statement. By the way, I like if you check the statement, it says, on Thursday, we will be talking to you. What day is today? It's Thursday. Oh, please agree that we do stick to our promises.
What's the question here?
Will it happen again after the system is
Thank you. So I'm only going to ask answer to the question, will this happen again? Maybe firstly, the context of why we even did the change. Our aim and our strategy for the bank is to ensure that it is a bank that fares well with every bank, commercial bank in South Africa. We want to improve, we want to ensure that we deliver consistent service, a reliable customer experience, and therefore every change that we do is aimed at doing that. By the way, this was not the first change that we've done as a bank this side of the year. It just so happens that this one did not necessarily happen as planned. And again, I know that some who might understand technology are going to ask, were the relevant tests done? Yes, the relevant tests were done. So we have a commitment, I think, as an executive of the bank, to ensure that something like this does not happen again. But having said that, with my experience in banking, having managed IT in so many institutions, things like this do happen. We absolutely, I cannot stand here with an understanding of how technology works and say 100% something like this will never happen again. But the only commitment I can make is that we will do everything in our power to prevent something like this from happening again. That's the only promise that we can make. Thank you.